We live in a busy world where time is the most valuable asset. However, there are people whom Stoic philosophy warns us to avoid. Time thieves. They are not always bad people, but they subtly disrupt your life, making you feel like your time is being wasted on things that don't matter. Have you ever felt caught up in meaningless conversations or invited to events that aren't truly important? These distractions can break the important plans you've set for the day. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said that the key is to associate only with those who uplift you, those whose presence brings out the best in you. So how can you protect yourself from time thieves? In this video, I will share powerful strategies from Stoic philosophy to help you identify and stay away from those who disrupt your life. Remember, time is the most precious asset, and you have the right to decide who deserves it. Type of person number 1. The complainer. We all encounter friends or acquaintances who always see things negatively, whether it's the weather, small issues at work, or even an unpleasant meeting. They never miss a chance to express their dissatisfaction. You might wonder why this should concern you. Just ignore them, right? But it's not that simple. Frequent exposure to complainers can gradually affect your mental state, like an old clock ticking away in your mind, draining your focus and energy. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can change, instead of dwelling on problems that can't be solved immediately. For example, if you're working with someone who constantly complains, each meeting turns into an endless argument that never leads to a solution. This doesn't only reduce the team's productivity, but also makes you feel discouraged and demotivated. So, how can we use Stoic philosophy to deal with complainers? One way is to limit your contact with them as much as possible. If that's not possible, for example, if they're a family member or colleague, you can create emotional distance when they begin to talk negatively. Consider their complaints like dark clouds in the sky. They may be irritating, but will eventually pass, unable to obscure the light of your inner peace. Another method is to steer the conversation towards actionable issues or change the subject to something positive. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Stoic philosophy encourages us to always protect our inner peace so that complaints do not derail us from our path. Type of person number 2. The victim. Imagine life as a long journey, each step filled with challenges and opportunities. You make plans, take risks, and learn from each experience. However, the person who always sees themselves as a victim blames everything around them, circumstances and others. In their eyes, every difficulty is the result of injustice from the outside world, not from their own choices or actions. Their story revolves around the inability to change their life, always portraying themselves as the weak protagonist with no control. For example, they might say, "I can't succeed at work because I don't have the opportunity," or "I can't maintain a healthy habit because my family doesn't support me." While some people truly face hardships, the victim always uses their circumstances as an eternal excuse, refusing to take responsibility for their decisions. You might find yourself drawn into their narrative, playing the role of the savior. For instance, you might have spent countless hours listening to a friend blaming their failures without changing anything. This not only wastes your time, but also encourages them to maintain a negative outlook. So, how do you deal with the victim mindset? Stoics advise drawing a clear boundary to protect your mental well-being. One strategy is detachment with compassion. Show empathy, but don't try to rescue them from situations they need to face on their own. Listen, but don't become their perpetual problem solver. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. Take control of your journey, keep moving forward, and remember that in life, feeling unjustly treated is often a choice, not fate. Keep progressing, not out of revenge, but for growth and wisdom. Type of person number 3, the time thief. Imagine your daily life as a perfect symphony, where each instrument represents an important task, commitment, or relationship. When they all come together, they create beautiful harmony. But then a time thief appears, disrupting that harmony with loud, jarring sounds, turning your symphony into chaos. A time thief doesn't have to be malicious. Sometimes they are just people who unintentionally distract you. For example, a colleague constantly asking irrelevant questions might derail your focus, or a friend who invites you to social events you don't really want to attend, making you feel obligated to go. While these interactions may seem insignificant at first, their cumulative effect can reduce your work efficiency and mental well-being. So how do you protect your life from time thieves? One effective strategy is using the Pomodoro technique, dividing work into short intervals, usually 25 minutes, followed by short breaks. During these intervals, make it clear that you do not want to be disturbed. If you are dealing with a social time thief, learn to say no. Instead of giving complex excuses, a simple statement like, "Thank you for the invite, but I can't make it," is enough. Saying no doesn't reject the person, but rather prioritizes your time and needs. As Seneca said, "Life, if well lived, is long enough." Time is the most valuable resource, and we must learn to use it wisely. Don't let time thieves disrupt your life. Take control of your life, ensuring every moment contributes meaningfully to your perfect symphony. Type of person number 4. The toxic positivist. You may encounter people who always radiate joy, spreading positive energy and telling you to just be happy. When you're facing difficulties, they might say, "Stay positive." But sometimes these words make you feel misunderstood. Imagine life as a book, with chapters of joy and others of sorrow. However, the toxic positivist only wants you to skip over the tragic chapters, not allowing you to experience the reality. For example, if you're struggling at work and feeling exhausted, the toxic positivist may say, "Don't worry, everything will be fine, just think positive." This advice not only dismisses your feelings, but also makes you feel like you're not allowed to experience difficult emotions. So, how do you protect your emotions without letting excessive positivity erode your sense of reality? One way is to engage in conversations that acknowledge both joy and sorrow. If they say, "Look on the bright side of things," you can respond, "I understand, but I also need time to process my emotions." Both feelings can coexist. Another method is emotional granularity, the ability to identify and differentiate your emotions. When the toxic positivist urges you to cheer up, take a moment to acknowledge your feelings and say, "I feel stressed, and that's okay." As Seneca said, true happiness is to understand our duties and enjoy the present. Embrace all aspects of life, both positive and negative. So the next time a toxic positivist sprinkles their cheer over your garden, remember that it needs both sunlight and rain to grow. Type of person number 5, the critic. Imagine you are an inventor, building a machine from complex parts. Each component you add is a piece of creativity that brings the machine closer to perfection. However, just as you complete a step, a critic appears. They glance at your creation and immediately start criticizing. "Are you sure this design is practical?" Most inventors fail. Their words act like outdated tools, causing you to doubt your own abilities. For example, you might be excited to start a new project, having researched thoroughly and prepared everything carefully. But when you share your plan with a critic, they list all the reasons why you can't succeed. The market is too saturated. Do you have enough resources? Gradually, their doubts begin to affect you, and your once confident plans start to feel fragile. So how do you deal with a critic, especially when they're close to you? One effective way is to ask them for advice instead of just sharing your ideas. When placed in a consultative role, they're less likely to attack your ideas and may offer more constructive feedback. Another method is to apply reversing the situation, or positive confrontation. Instead of absorbing their negativity, challenge them to think about solutions. If they say you won't succeed by changing careers, ask, "So in your view, how can someone succeed when changing careers?" As Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Continue painting your life's canvas with the colors you choose, and don't let anyone turn your vibrant masterpiece into a dull gray landscape. Type of person number 6, the drama magnet. Imagine you're walking down a peaceful path, enjoying the fresh air and tranquility. But then you encounter someone who constantly makes noise, preventing you from walking calmly. This person is always in crisis, from conflicts with others to endless arguments. Initially, you might find the excitement in their life stimulating, thinking it brings passion. However, you will soon realize that being near them is like walking through a noisy crowd. you'll struggle to stay calm and may get dragged into their chaos. What makes dealing with drama magnets difficult is that they make you feel like their problems are your problems. Their chaos is contagious, and you may find yourself drawn into conflicts you had no part in. For example, you have a friend who frequently has issues with others in your group. Today, they aren't speaking to one person. Tomorrow it's someone else. They come to you seeking advice, but before long you realize you've been pulled into their conflict simply by trying to intervene. One way to handle this is through reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or taking sides, simply reflect their words back to them. For example, if they say, "I can't believe they treated me like that," you could respond with, "So you feel hurt by their actions." This technique allows you to offer emotional support without getting caught up in their drama. Another strategy is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism teaches us to value our time, and sometimes this means not getting involved in others' recurring crises that have no resolution. Set aside time for work or personal activities, and make it clear you cannot be disturbed during these periods. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. When dealing with drama magnets, focus on the present and take control of what you can. Enjoy moments of peace and don't let their drama disturb your inner tranquility. Type of person 7, the manipulator. Imagine your life as a book where you are the author. You've written your own story, built the characters, and decided on the plot twists. But one day, you discover someone is quietly changing your storyline without your knowledge. They start altering important details, making you feel as though your story has veered off course. A manipulator is highly skilled at controlling the emotions and psychology of others. They might use sweet compliments, guilt trips, or even lies to make you act according to their wishes. You might have a friend who constantly asks for help without giving you the chance to say no. They might say, "I'm going through a tough time. Can you help me again?" Over time, you realize that your kindness is being taken advantage of, but it becomes difficult to refuse because they've made it seem like a request you can't deny. To deal with a manipulator, you can apply the fogging technique. This involves agreeing with the valid parts of what they say, but not letting them control your emotions. For example, if they say, "You're so successful, you could definitely help me," you could respond with, "Yes, I'm doing well, but we should share things fairly." Another method is to set clear and firm boundaries. If the manipulator asks you to do something you don't want to do, learn to refuse decisively yet gently. As Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." So if you find yourself being manipulated, remember that you are the one writing your own story. Take back control and don't let anyone change the course of your life. As Stoic philosophy teaches, time is not only the most valuable asset, but also a resource that can help you build the life you dream of. To make life fulfilling, you need to choose the people and activities that deserve to share your time while avoiding distractions and waste. You are the captain of your life's ship, and only you have the authority to decide who is worthy of accompanying you. If this video has brought value to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming interesting videos. Share it with those you think might need it, and make sure to turn on notifications to get immediate updates when new videos are released. Thank you for watching and for dedicating your precious time to explore with us. Always remember that time is priceless, and you deserve to spend it on things that truly matter. I wish you a life full of inspiration and progress, unimpeded by the factors that disrupt your journey.